9 years ago today, I left my job to pursue all of this, which is honestly wild to think about and is a huge driving factor as to why I like talking about a lot of this shit, because if I can do it, so can so many other people. But today I figured I'd put together 5 things that allowed me to leave my job and also helped me be sustainable across the years. Now, first off, before we even get into those things, I think it's very crucial to remind everybody that if you aren't genuinely into the thing that you want to make a career out of, your odds of success are very fucking slim. There's been this huge trend, especially in the online world over the last 10 years, where we see people just idolize the idea of something. Oh, Tim the Tatman's a really successful streamer, so I just want to be a streamer. Seems easy. Peter McKinnon is really good at doing video and photo and has made an entire brand out of it. It's got to be super easy because his content seems super easy. There's this weird delusion that just because it seems easy, that it's just a better alternative for your shitty situation. And I'm just telling you right now, that's a recipe for disaster. If you can't find fulfillment out of the thing you do in the first place, the odds of success are slim. Maybe you manage to figure out to monetize it and make money and leave your shitty job for the time being, but the odds of it lasting and that thing becoming a mundane, annoying routine that you end up just not enjoying are pretty high. So I think it's mature to have the conversation up front that if you want to be able to leave your job and pursue this other thing and find fulfillment in it, you better pick something that you're into. But anyways, you found that something that would influence you to want to leave your job and make a career out of it. What are those 5 things that have drastically made an impact on me to help and aid with doing that? Number 1 is timing. Having patience is key. Being able to build a solid foundation so you're not as stressed coming into your scenario has been so helpful for me. So a lot of people don't know that I actually threw myself into the deep end at one point. In 2012, I quit my job for the first time for about 8 to 9 months. At the time, I had very minimal bills. My YouTube channel started making money. We managed a couple other YouTube channels that also made money. And I started making a lot more sales through graphic design in the Call of Duty gaming space on YouTube. So at the first point that I was making like $800 to $1,000 a month, I just jumped in because my thought was that if I had more time to do this, I'd be able to make more money. Long story short, I threw myself into the deep end a little too quick personally for my liking. I didn't have enough patience. I ended up having to get my job back like 9 months later, to where I learned that I need to have that structure. I need to have that patience, take the time to do this right. I knew exactly the clientele I needed to build. I knew the longevity I needed to have, like the social media is growing, needing to have a website. I knew everything that I needed to prepare for to be able to go full-time successfully the next time. Listen, I remember what it felt like going back to work and having that gut feeling, like knowing I didn't want to be there, but excited that I was going to go home and at some point turn everything that I do into a career, but not knowing when. I didn't know if it was going to be a year, 2 years, or 5 years. Luckily for me, it only took 2 years to get to that position where I felt comfortable enough to be able to leave my job. A few rules that I had to know when it was ready to leave was I wanted to have some money put away for a runway in case I had a shitty month. I wanted to grow my social media to a certain amount, build a portfolio, and have a website. And the last thing is I didn't want to leave until the job that I was working at was getting in the way of making me money and what I wanted to do. So I was patient. I worked hard on my evenings. I gave up doing shit that I knew wouldn't benefit me towards those goals. I went after it, and at the start of 2015, I did it. Thing number 2 was adapting over time. Even before I left my job, I wasn't making money specifically in the first thing that I started making money in. I expanded, I grew. As I learned throughout the years that sure, I could make money in the things that I thought was cool, in the designs that I thought was cool, I could also expand my portfolio and easily knock out designs in things that were more sustainable and brought more value. You see, throughout the years, while a lot of you guys and gals seen the flashy shit that I would put on YouTube, nobody ever seen the behind the scenes small shit that I did for small town brands, for brands all around the world that didn't have a lot of social media growth. I adapted in the design world by bringing on more clients. I adapted by getting a camera and being able to sell digital assets, then utilizing that camera to be a photographer and the videographer, to where in the long term, I utilized all this knowledge of creating things, photo, video, design, and I applied that to my own brand, to where in 2018, I adapted and I went full-time specifically as a content creator. There's so many ways of adapting. We've all had to adapt over the last few years. We've clearly seen the success of individuals who adapted to vertical content versus those who didn't, for example. Adapting is one of those things that's just kind of a no-brainer, man. If you're not willing to grow and improve over time and expand your roots into new things, your odds of your shit falling over are super high. And with that brings point number 3, a grasp on reality, a grasp on the ups and downs. Listen, if you don't have a realistic understanding of how this is, where it's ebbs and flows, things come and go, you can crash and burn real quick. You can get in your head and create a doomsday scenario fast. Dude, I remember one of the first times where I had burnout and I didn't really enjoy doing the designs that I was doing anymore. It was like the first year where I was freelance, and I started to fucking panic for a while because I was like, dude, I chased this dream for years and now I don't really like what I'm doing recently. I ended up reminding myself how lucky I was, and I asked myself what the issues were at hand. I was burnt out doing those specific designs I was doing. So I started doing new designs. I started trying to do new things. I started adapting to new shit. But if I had never had that grasp on reality of the ebbs and flows to things, that feelings come and go, that you got to kind of push through those things and learn to deal with them over time, I would have just crawled into a corner at one point and said, I'm done. I failed. There's nothing more I can do from this. And the grasp of reality is super crucial to content creators and streamers. You have to know that things come and go. You have to know that your stream is going to go up and down. You have to know that your 1 of 10 videos will eventually be 10 of 10 videos for some time being. And through that, you have a little patience, you adapt through times, and hopefully you come out on top in the long run. Number 4, living below your means. Now, this is going to seem really rich coming from me because you see the things that I have now, the camera gear, the setup, the shoes, the dream car, the house, yada, yada, yada. But you see that now in 2024. What you didn't see was me spend my entire 20s and never spend over like $80 on a pair of shoes. What you didn't see was I didn't get my first car payment till I was in my 20s. I spent most of my risk investing into me, my brand, and everything that I do, so that way this could grow instead of living above my means, instead of appearing to be flashier than I needed to be. Up until the age of 29 years old, I have never had rent or my half of a mortgage payment exceed $250 because I didn't live in places that were extravagant enough to cost more than that. I spent a lot of years not traveling and taking vacations. I spent a lot of time not going out with friends and drinking. I've always tried to live a step or two below my means so that way I could maintain my career. Because to me, the success of having the freedom to do what I enjoy and do what I love on a day by day, it's to challenge myself through this. It is way more important than having the newest new all the time. The way that I see it, the things that I would really kill to have today, if I just hold off on having them now, in the years to come, I'll most likely be able to just get them and not stress about it. Living below your means is honestly like one of the crucial ones, man. If you can minimize your rate of living to try to achieve and do the things that you love in life, dude, it's such a win-win. And honestly, sometimes from experience here, this is going to involve maybe biting off more than you could chew and having to take a step back. You know, I had those times where I kind of lived in that glory moment. You know, I got the credit cards, I bought like all this extra cool shit, and it was stupid for me. And at a time in life, I had to come to a crossroad. Do I hold on to these things? Do I hold on to the stuff that I couldn't honestly afford at the time just to have it and save the embarrassment of needing to get rid of it? Or do I want to continue doing what I love for a living and make this more sustainable? And I got rid of a lot of shit at a current point in my life. The want for all this to work out far exceeded the need to have those stupid fucking things at the time that honestly didn't matter to me. And I would do that in a heartbeat today. Like if something happened to me this year And I actually had to question the future of my brand. I would get rid of the majority of the shit that I had, because at the end of the day, these are all things. This is stuff that just has money tied to it. And over time, you can just make more money back. You can fuck up, lose shit, have to get rid of things, and make it back in the future. You will never get this time and opportunity back. Once it's passed, it's gone. And that's why point number 5 is one of the most crucial points to all this. You have to have goals, man. You have to set realistic, obtainable goals. Not your, I want to get 1 million subscribers this year. Like, dude, fuck yeah. Everybody wants that fucking goal. I'm talking, what are you going to actually do for the next week, the next month, the next year to put you in a better situation from where you are now? When I was working my full-time job, my simple goals were upload streaks. The first goal I ever had in any of this shit was to upload a YouTube video every single day. Then at one point I started making designing goals. Like I wanted to get better at logos. So I made sure every single day of my life, I made a logo. And then over time, the win-win from that was I ended up selling every single logo every single day for an entire month. My profit was insane that month because I just wanted to get better at making logos. So I did like the first 3 days of logos and I shared it to social media. Next thing you know, even though I thought they were shit, other people was like, dude, are these for sale? So I started selling every single one, which then opened me up into a whole new avenue at the time of doing pre-made shit. I know that story's redundant for a lot of people. I'm not trying to tell you how to be a designer, but it's super important because it shows you that through goals, it led to other opportunities. Lazy people like to use the word luck way too fucking much. And like, I agree, there's a lot of luck in situations. Over the last 10 to 13 years of me attempting to do all this shit, there's been so many scenarios where I'm like, wow, I can't believe it worked out like that. Like I did get lucky. But the reality is anybody who becomes successful and gets lucky, it's created from the opportunity they put themselves in. I can tell you what, not everybody's gonna make it. Not everybody watching this video is gonna be able to leave their job this year or create a 6-figure business or be a successful creator. But what I can guarantee is the people that actually apply themselves in situations are gonna make it way further than anybody who doesn't even attempt to show up in the first fucking place due to all the sad excuses that they wanna give. And this is why it's like a big revolving door. It's a big circle. At the end of the day, the goals are so important because of the first thing that I said at the start of the video. If all the goals, out of all the shit you want to achieve, is more important than the shit you don't enjoy doing now, you will most likely find success in that venture at some point in time. Having a grasp on the reality and understanding, for some of us, it takes longer than others, but if you enjoy the journey in itself, why does it fucking matter? So timing, having patience, adapting over time, having a grasp on reality, living below my means, and setting goals that were more important to me than the things I didn't enjoy to do at the time were huge points as to what allowed me to leave my job and also keep progressively getting better year after year after year to not have to go back and work that shitty job that I didn't like. Look, I'm relatable in the scenario. I'm very sympathetic. Just 14 years ago, I was completely lost in life. I was not a good human being. I did a lot of stupid shit. I had a lot of dependencies that weren't healthy in life. Honestly, dude, I know it sounds rich just because they're words, but if I figured out a way to find all this and create the life that I did, I'm telling you, for a lot of people watching, it is possible. It's not going to be easy. It will take a lot of ups and downs. It will be hard work. But dude, if something brings you so much joy in life that it outweighs the negatives that you go through, I'm telling you, hunker down on that and see what can happen, man. Don't give up. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Peace. Deuces.